So you're chasing $1 million. It's the number, right? The magic finish line where you finally feel like you've made it. And when you actually hit it, some things change in ways that will genuinely thrill you, and other things don't change at all, in ways that might surprise you. Most people have a fantasy in their head about what $1 million means, and the reality is quite a bit different. Better in some ways, more sobering in others. So today I'm going to tell you the truth about what really happens when you hit $1 million in America. Not the fantasy, the reality. And whether you're already close or just starting the climb, understanding this now will make you a lot smarter about the whole journey. The first thing that happens, and it's the big one, is that your money starts to out-earn you. Let me show you what I mean. $1 million invested sensibly can earn you somewhere in the range of $70,000 to $100,000 in a normal year, just from growth and dividends, without you lifting a finger. Sit with that number, because for a lot of Americans, that's more than they make from a full year of work. This is the moment the whole game quietly flips. Your money is now the hardest worker in your household. You wake up, you do nothing, and your portfolio has had a more productive day than you did at the office. That is the precise moment work starts to become optional, and it is a genuinely strange and wonderful feeling the first time you truly register it. For your entire life, you worked for money. Now, money works for you, and it compounds from here, faster than you'd expect. Think about it. It took you years of hard saving to build that first million because you were doing most of the lifting yourself, dollar by dollar out of your paycheck. But now the market is contributing serious money every year on its own. It's entirely normal for a millionaire in America who just keeps investing to reach 2 million far faster than it took to get from 0 to 1, even though it's the same amount of money because compounding has finally taken the wheel. The hardest part of the whole journey is the part before the first million. It genuinely gets easier from here, which is exactly why the people grinding toward their first million should take heart. But here's the second thing that happens, and it's the sobering one. $1 million is both more and less than you think. Less because $1 million is not private jet, buy anything money. Using the safe withdrawal math, $1 million reliably produces around $3,300 a month. That's a solid, comfortable income, especially stacked on top of Social Security, but it's not a fantasy of unlimited spending. If you were expecting to hit $1 million and suddenly live like a celebrity, that's just not what $1 million does. But here's why it's also more than you think. What $1 million really buys you isn't stuff. It's security, it's options, it's the ability to sleep through a bad news cycle, to walk away from a job you hate, to stop trading every hour of your life for a paycheck. The real value of $1 million isn't a flashier lifestyle. It's freedom, and freedom turns out to be worth far more than any toy. And here's something I've noticed about millionaires in America. Most of them don't actually look like millionaires. They drive normal cars, live in normal homes, and don't splash their money around because the ones who stay wealthy understood that the money was never for showing off. It was for buying back their time and their peace of mind. The person blowing money to look rich is usually the one who never gets free. The quiet millionaire who kept their spending sane is the one sleeping soundly at night. The third thing that happens is that the tax man quietly becomes your business partner, whether you like it or not. At $1 million, taxes stop being a minor detail and start being one of the biggest factors in your financial life. Where your million sits now matters enormously. If it's all in a traditional 401k, every dollar you eventually pull out is taxable income, and one day the government will force you to start withdrawing it, whether you want to or not, which can spike your tax bracket and even raise the cost of your Medicare. If it's in a Roth, it's tax-free and far more flexible. So at this level, the smart move shifts from just growing the number to managing how much of it you actually get to keep. $1 million in the right accounts is worth noticeably more than $1 million in the wrong ones. This is the point where a little tax planning starts paying off in a big way. And there's a uniquely American wrinkle here worth knowing. Your income in retirement quietly controls hidden costs most people never see coming. Pull too much taxable income in a year, and you can bump up the cost of your Medicare premiums and make more of your Social Security taxable all at once. Having tax-free Roth money to draw on lets you control that income like a dial, keeping yourself under those thresholds. At $1 million, that kind of control is no longer a nice to have. It's real money every single year for the rest of your life. The fourth thing that happens is psychological, and almost nobody warns you about it. Your money anxiety doesn't vanish the way you expect. In fact, for some people, a new worry creeps in, the fear of losing what they've built. For years, your job was to grow the number, to save and take sensible risks and push it higher. But once you've got a real pile, a part of your brain shifts to protecting it. And that's actually appropriate, but it can tip into fear if you're not careful. The trap on one side is lifestyle creep, quietly letting your spending balloon now that you feel rich, which can burn through your freedom fast. The trap on the other side is becoming so scared of losing it that you never actually enjoy what you built, or you yank everything into cash where inflation slowly eats it. The healthy path is somewhere in the middle. Enjoy it a little, protect it sensibly, and keep it invested so it keeps working. And that leads to the fifth thing that happens, the big mindset shift. You move from growing your money to protecting it. When you had very little, taking big swings made sense because you needed growth and you didn't have much to lose. But at $1 million, you now have something serious to protect, and you no longer need to take big risks to win. This is where sensible people shift toward a more resilient setup, a solid growth core to keep compounding, some income to pay them, and a stable buffer of a few years of spending, so a market crash never forces them to sell at the bottom. It's not about getting timid. It's about recognizing that the game has changed and playing the new game instead of the older one. Here's a simple way to think about it. When you were building, volatility was your friend because every crash let you buy more shares cheaply. But once you're living off the money, a badly timed crash right when you're withdrawing can do real, lasting damage. That's the exact risk the stable buffer is designed to diffuse, so you can ride out a downturn on cash instead of selling your investments at the worst possible moment. The million you spent years building deserves that kind of protection. So what should you actually do when you hit $1 million? A few clear moves. First, resist the urge to blow it up with lifestyle inflation because the whole point of $1 million is the freedom it buys. And freedom is expensive to buy back once you've spent it. Second, get serious about taxes. Look hard at how much of your money is in tax-free Roth accounts versus taxable ones, because that mix will quietly determine how much you actually keep. Third, shift your portfolio toward that more resilient protect and grow structure. And fourth, decide on purpose what enough looks like for you, so you know when you're actually free rather than just chasing a bigger number forever. Because plenty of people hit $1 million, feel nothing, and immediately fixate on 2, then 5, then 10, never once stopping to enjoy the freedom they already bought. Don't let the goalposts run away from you. $1 million is a milestone, not a personality. So let me leave you with the honest bottom line. When you hit $1 million in America, your money starts out earning your paycheck, which is genuinely life-changing. But $1 million is less than the fantasy and more than you think at the same time. It won't make you idle rich, but it will buy you real security and real freedom. The taxman becomes your partner. So where your money sits starts to matter as much as how much you have. And the job quietly changes from growing your wealth to protecting it. $1 million doesn't transform who you are. It just hands you options, and what you do with those options is the whole ballgame. And since these rules and numbers do change, do check the current details before you act. If this gave you a clear, honest picture of what $1 million really means, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there.